And here we are for the second bonus episode from this 2-episode season premiere of Strange New Worlds. And the second one is called Wedding Bell Blues. Now, if you have not seen this episode yet, please turn back now because there will be spoilers.
Spoilers.
Seeing Spock very excited to see Chapel, that he was even learning to dance. Which I think Gates McFadden would approve. And he was trying to do different things to make her happy. It was sad to see that because we knew what was going to happen when Chapel came back. And of course, we saw that exactly when they both beamed aboard. Now, there was that one moment with Scotty where he said something about a sensory ghost right before he beamed them aboard. And I thought that was interesting. And I was all like, what's going on? For some reason, I was thinking of some kind of like Gorn thing because we just dealt with the Gorn before. Totally wrong. But yeah, that did stick out at first. So I was trying to pay attention.
Spock,
Christine.
this is Dr. Corby.
Your fellowship director.
Honestly, I think Chapel did Spock dirty, not letting him know what was going on. And I know for a fact, like I said earlier, Chapel loved Corby. This was kind of a different relationship for her. She always kind of jumped relationships because she never knew what she wanted. This was different, especially when they're telling the story of how they fell in love because it was her mom's anniversary death, and how he told the moons and the stars and stuff just like she did. And so I could see them falling in love, but to know that Spock was back on the ship, she should have done him the courtesy of letting him know of what had happened prior to her coming on the ship. So I really don't like what they did with Chapel in that aspect because it kind of made her look like a bitch. And we all know Chapel isn't a bitch, but she just doesn't do things right sometimes.
It's a documentary of the Centennial Gala, not this workout.
I am a serious filmmaker.
Erica, oh, there you are. You are not going to believe this.
Now with Ortegas and her little brother, I thought that was so much fun. I loved the Spanish. It brought me back home. And of course, Uhura and her brother are, flirting and everything. And, Ortegas isn't liking it. But it was fun little banter. It was a kind of nice little side story. And I wasn't expecting what happened at the end of it all.
Good evening. Ready for a change?
I was not aware we had a Vulcan bartender.
Temporary posting. Just passing through.
I can't tell you how confused I was when Spock met the bartender. And I'm all like, okay, it showed him as one alien, but we could definitely see it's somebody else. And I was very just, what the hell's going on? And then, of course, when he goes to sleep, he wakes up next to Chapel and they're getting married. And I'm like, is this a dream? Like, what the hell is happening? And of course, as they're going through the story, and there's that character, which I believe is Rise Darby, I believe is his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I've seen him in like Jumanji and stuff like that. He's a great character. Or a great actor, I should say. But the thing is that I was just really confused. So it was kind of hard for me to keep track of what was going on. The only thing that caught my attention was that Corby knows something's up and he was trying to stop all of this. And I was thinking, why does he know what's going on and nobody else? Now, this could have been a trick because as we know later on, this is Trelane. Could have been a trick from Trelane being all like, "You're gonna watch this happen, and it's all your fault because you're beautiful." Because he was mentioning that later on. I also was all like, maybe he's an android already, and that's why he wasn't affected. I don't think Corby went down that rabbit hole just yet, but for some reason, maybe with his breakup with Chapel, something happened and he just went a little nuts. But I guess we'll find out later on. But he was a likable character. I did enjoy him. I do like the actor. And when he got Spock to snap out of it, I did enjoy them trying to work together to try to get this fixed because Spock's not going to let this happen. He's very logical. He understands like this isn't cool and he doesn't want to hurt Chapel. That's the biggest thing for him. Now, I do want to say though that when it was the wedding time, and of course, Corby's the maid of honor and everything like that, and then he finally decides to stand up to try and say something, he got turned into a cute little doggy, and I liked that. And of course, Sam Kirk liked that too. When I was watching it though, I realized what Spock was going to do in doing the whole moon and stars thing to try and snap her out of it because like Corby said, one of the biggest emotions is rage, right? Which is why Spock got knocked out, came back, but he knew love was also a powerful emotion. And this was his confirmation that Chapel really does love Corby. And all he wants to do is just see her happy. And I think that was a beautiful moment. The one thing that I didn't like, and before we get to the Trelane part, the one thing that I didn't like is at the very end, she's all like, let's not talk about it. Let's go have fun, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you probably should pull Spock aside and be like, thank you for saving us and thank you for this, because this hurt him. Like he's watching them together and that's painful. And these are emotions that I think Spock doesn't want to feel. And it kind of makes sense that later on, Spock was very, very emotionless. He was very much on his Vulcan side. And I think this was kind of the catalyst for it. I kind of figured this was Trelane throughout the episode just because of how his mannerisms were and how he kept changing things and stuff. And I'm all like, this is like that character that was the Q character in TOS. And of course, as we find out, that was him. But what was the biggest surprise?
What is this?
Not now, Dad.
Oh, you have made enough of a mess. Please, let's not make a scene.
Was Q. As I saw that little light ball coming down, I was like, oh, okay, this was just like TOS. There's the parents. But when I'm listening, all of a sudden, I'm so glad I caught my reaction because I'm all like, wait, what? What? Is that John Delancey? What a wonderful surprise. What a great cameo. And I wonder if they're trying to say this is Q, okay? And that, Trelane is a Q, right? Because they never really said that. They just kept calling him Trelane, like he was just this one special being. Even though we knew there was more of them. But I was wondering if that maybe this is why Q decided to, I want to know more about humanity. And that's why he started to hang out with the TNG crew. So I'm curious if that's kind of their path with this, that I got to get my boy under control, but I'm really curious about these humans, and maybe that's where it all started. But let's get to that ending, man, with Ortegas. Like, something's up and you don't know what's going on. And I know something was going to happen with Ortegas, but the aggression, and all of a sudden you see the shadow of the Gorn behind her. This is what I feel is going to happen to Patel with having little Gorn cells in her. Did something happen of her slicing her open that Ortegas is also turning into a Gorn? It's very interesting of where they decide to go. Is Patel going to save Ortegas? Is Ortegas going to save Patel? Are they both going to die? I have no idea what they plan on doing, but I'm very, very excited. If I had to give this a 1 out of 5 wedding bells, I probably would give it a 4, so half a point higher than the first episode. It wasn't perfect, but I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I just didn't like how they were portraying Chapel. I think that was a little but we'll see, because like I said, Chapel does love Corby, and we know that in TOS with the episode What Are Little Girls Made Of. she really loved him. And so it's just one of those things that you're just kind of like questioning about how are they going to do this? What's going to happen? And then I'm just wondering, like, what the hell happened to Corby? Right. So, anyways, so those are my thoughts of episode 2. Next week, as episode 3 is called Shuttle to Kinfori. So I guess we'll see what that's all about. And don't forget to like this video. Please comment below on your thoughts of Wedding Bell Blues. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel for more Crusher Combo content. And on to next week. Live long and prosper. Don't forget, you can listen to all the audio versions of Crusher Combo on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can support the podcast by buying merch on TeePublic, buy me a coffee by scanning that QR code, or becoming a Patreon member for as low as $3 a month. But the best way to support Crusher Combo is to like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can also find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, or TikTok, so please follow me there. And of course, all this information can be found on crushercombo.com.
Crusher out.